Betty Grof. You may be familiar with that name, and for good reason.
She is the most powerful character in Adventure Time. But how?
For once in our life, the Adventure Time creators actually give us pretty much all the information that we need. So, without further ado, buckle up and join me in exploring Betty's story, her love for Simon, her sacrifices, and her obsession that just doesn't quit. But actually, I lied. Before we get into that, please subscribe. Really helps me out. Okay, let's get into this. So let's rewind to Betty's early life. She was this super smart and ambitious woman who wanted to study in Australia. But then she met Simon Petrikov, an adventurous archaeologist, and their shared passion for knowledge made her change her plans. Together now, they went after the Enchiridion, this ancient and powerful book, and it totally changed their lives. Betty and Simon's relationship got pretty serious, and they even got engaged. But as you'd expect, things didn't stay perfect for long. Dark forces started messing with their world, and this magical artifact, an enchanted crown, would change everything for them. In Holly Jolly Secrets Part 2, we see the tapes where Simon finds the enchanted crown, or the ice crown, and things are just downhill from there. When he puts it on, he starts changing, like a lot. He's turning into the Ice King, and Betty is left there trying to make sense of it all. Not just that, but she's powerless to stop it, and her world is falling apart right in front of her eyes. As time goes on, Simon's transformation just gets worse and worse, and at that time, Betty's hope of saving him starts to fade. At some point, she just disappears from his life, leaving him to deal with the curse all by himself.
Please love me again, Betty. Okay, bye.
Their love story is a roller coaster, full of tragedy and unanswered questions that kept us Adventure Time fans guessing for years. Now, this was the first time that Betty was ever mentioned, and the first time that we see the Ice King as Simon, so already a lot of questions from the start. So you might be thinking, right, okay, Adventure Time brought up a lot of questions. They're probably going to come out with an episode soon that surely answers all of this, right? Fast forward a little over 2 years later, and Betty finally makes a comeback to the Land of Ooo. In the episode, Betty, Bella Noche, a being of pure anti-magic, absorbs all of the magic from the Ice King's crown, temporarily turning him back into Simon Petrikov. However, the Ice Crown was keeping Simon alive, so Simon's quickly running out of time. And as Simon now thought that his last days were coming, he needed Marceline's help to open a time portal to finally apologize to Betty for driving her away. But in true Adventure Time fashion, she just ends up jumping through the time portal and finds to her shock that Simon has become the Ice King. But this time, she's not giving up on it. No way. From this point on, she will be determined to save Simon from the Ice Crown. This also explains why Simon never found or heard from Betty again in the original tapes, because it's this paradox thing where technically Betty never existed in that timeline because she ended up jumping through the time portal. So yeah, confusing, and time travel. However, saving Simon wouldn't be easy for Betty. Betty faces a ton of challenges and obstacles in her way, but she's super resourceful and smart and never gives up. She even takes on powerful beings like we said before, Bella Noche, and manages to bring back Simon's power. However, in doing so, she knew that he would have to turn back into the Ice King in order for her to save him. This just makes her even more focused and determined on freeing him from the crown's curse. Now, and you forgot your floaties, things just get even crazier when Betty gets Magic Man's powers and turns into a wizard. Nothing's crazy in the world of Adventure Time. Literally anything could happen. With all this new knowledge and power, she's hoping that this would be her ticket to finally solving and finding a cure for Simon. But it's not all good news, because her mind starts going haywire, and her personality changes a lot too. But even with every possible thing going wrong, Betty keeps trying to understand the link between wizard powers, madness, and sadness, believing that it could be the key to saving Simon. Her love for him and her never give up attitude truly keeps her going. Alright, so now Betty's a wizard, and she honestly seems pretty unpredictable at times, but her main goal always stays the same: to save Simon from the cursed enchanted crown. In King's Ransom, she even tinkers with the ice crown, hoping it'll reverse his transformation and be spoken for. We see that her memories are still pretty sharp, and her love for Simon keeps pushing her forward, no matter how tough things get. Another great example of Betty's determination to save Simon is in the episode Broke His Crown, where she tries to fix the crown's programming to save Simon. And just when you think you've seen it all, Betty's a wizard now, she has this weird AI inside the crown, we're just getting started for Betty. And Betty's story takes another wild turn when she gets caught up in the Elemental miniseries. Now let's talk about this miniseries and how Betty's story takes another sharp turn. With the elements, these super powerful forces in the Land of Ooo becoming a huge part of her mission to finally save Simon. She gets involved in some pretty wild stuff, like betraying Finn and trying to go back in time to stop the Mushroom War. Her intentions might seem off at first, but she's still all about saving Simon from the enchanted crown. Sadly, things don't work out in the Elements miniseries, and she ends up on the planet Mars. Things just keep getting crazier and crazier. She first jumps to a time portal and transports roughly 1,000 years in the future. Then she becomes a wizard. Then she has an AI of herself inside of the crown. Then she gets involved in the Elements miniseries, and now she's on Mars. But trust me, that's not even the craziest part of Betty's story. Just you wait. So, with Betty on Mars now, her journey is all about trying to kick her obsession with trying to save Simon. Because after all, this has all she has been doing. Her one goal, saving Simon, no matter what. She pops up in the episode Temple of Mars, where she learns some important lessons about letting go and accepting what she can't change. Except that couldn't be further from the truth. She doesn't learn anything. All she learns from this experience is that she just has to try harder to save Simon. That's all it takes, just a little more work. Betty just won't give up on saving Simon. True dedication. So she tells now Kingman, not Magic Man anymore, doesn't have those magical powers, remember? I gave him to Betty. He's Kingman now, that she has a plan to finally save Simon. And she offers for Kingman to save his Margles.
And for you to finally pull Margles back from the maw of Golb.
We see her plan unfold in the series finale. Come along with me. Betty and Kingman's plan was to harness and summon Golb himself. So that's exactly what they do with the help of Maja. They summon Golb in the attempt to harness all of his power. This was Betty's final plan to save Simon. To harness the power of Golb to revert the Ice King back to Simon. But as all Adventure Time episodes go, her plan backfires. The Ice King tries to stop her, and in doing so, Betty and the Ice King get swallowed by Golb, and then Finn jumps in, being the hero that he is. Once they're inside of Golb, their forms start to revert back to the original forms. Magic Betty reverting back to Betty Grof, Ice King to Simon Petrikov, and Finn just stays classic old Finn. However, Betty notices that the Ice Crown also reverted back to its prime wishing form, allowing anybody that wears it one wish. In a truly selfless act of love, Betty sacrifices herself, puts on the crown, and makes her final wish.
However it has to happen. I wish for the power to keep Simon safe.
With this, Betty's wish is granted, and Betty and Golb fuse to become one entity, which stops Golb from destroying Ooo and saving Simon in the process. She did it. No matter what it took, Betty saved Simon. This heart-wrenching end to Betty's story shows just how much she loves Simon and how far she'll go to protect him, even if it means giving up her own life.
Betty is now the most powerful character in all of Adventure Time.
And that's it. Betty is never heard from again. But I actually have another theory that I plan on making in my next video, that we may see Betty again in the upcoming Fiona and Cake series releasing on HBO Max. I'll go into further detail about why I think this is in my next video, but trust me, I think you're going to want to watch it. So let's wrap it up. Betty Grof's story is an amazing tale of love, sacrifice, and what people will do for the ones that they care about. Feeling guilty for not being there for Simon when he was transforming into the Ice King, she made it her life's mission to free him from the Ice Crown. No matter what got in her way, she just kept going, and in the end, she gave up her own life to save Simon. I truly believe her character arc is seriously underrated and deserves way more attention and discussion. Please let me know what you think of this. It's not much of a theory because, like I said, this is one of the only characters where we actually get pretty much all the information that we need in the episodes themselves. So there's not really much to theorize about, except for her future, which I'm gonna make a theory about. But please don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. It really helps me out a lot, and I really do truly appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, stay adventurous.
I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching. I've always loved cartoons and I still do. So I thought, why not make a YouTube channel about it? So if you guys want to watch more videos like this, be sure to check out my channel. And again, thank you guys so much for watching.